It's gotten to the point that I've started doing my son's homework for him so we can play sooner. One thing I want to let you guys know up front about me is that I'm very immature. I'm goofy, I like to have a good time. Am I in good company? Are you guys like that? All right, fantastic. Fantastic. I'm immature, but I have kids, which is a bad combination. Because it's hard to teach your kids the value of $1 when you have the same hobbies as them. It's impossible. Like, we'll be on the couch on a Saturday morning watching cartoons, eating sugary cereal, and a commercial will come on. My kids will get excited. They'll be like, "Dad, that video game looks so cool. What can we do so we can earn money so we can buy that?" I'm just like, "Sons, I already bought it!" We are not doing anything productive today. We're gonna finish this game. It's gotten to the point that I've started doing my son's homework for him so we can play sooner. I got caught though. We went to parent-teacher conferences. I was like, "Excuse me, how did we get a needs improvement in math?" And the teacher was like, "I knew you were doing his homework, Mr. Guluka. Your son doesn't write his 7s backwards." I was like, "First of all, 7s are tricky no matter how old you are. And second of all, have you played Super Mario Odyssey? That game is amazing. He'll learn math when he's older." My wife gets mad when I play violent video games in front of the kids. You guys, she gets furious. The other day I was downstairs in our house playing Halo 5. And my 2 sons snuck downstairs and they were watching me. I didn't know, I had a headset on, I was in the zone. And then my wife snuck downstairs and saw this happening, so now I'm in huge trouble. She was like, "Lam, you can't play those games in front of the kids, they're too violent." And I was like, "Listen, honey, it's Halo 5, it's rated T, it's not that bad." She was like, "Yeah, it's rated T and they are not teenagers." And I was like, "Yeah, but their names are Tegan and Trayson." I should have named them Mofasa and Mohammed so we could play Call of Duty together. Because it's rated M for mature. For you old people that don't play games. Call of Duty. I want to get your guys' opinion. You guys think that video games cause violence in society? Yes, no? Shout it out. What do you think? Yeah? Most people are saying no, and I agree with you. Here's the reason why. I remember growing up, parents and teachers used to get so mad. They'd be like, "You guys need to put down those violent video games. They're so violent and disgusting. They're rotting your minds. Put them down and go do your English homework," which involves reading a Shakespeare play where at the end everyone dies violently. And then watch the evening news. There's no violence there. A good friend of mine, his wife won't let him play video games at all. She won't even allow them in the house because she says they're expensive and they don't do anything. They're expensive and they don't do anything. Every time she says this, I just want to ask her, "What does the diamond on your finger do?" What does it do? It's expensive, and you can't watch Netflix on it. Ladies, I get it. I'm a married man myself. I understand how important the ring is. It shows that you're taken. It shows his love for you. Most importantly, it's shiny. But in some countries, all they need to show that love is a dot on your forehead. We're very materialistic. And I'm not trying to mock other cultures, I promise. I'm just saying, ladies, if you're ever out to dinner with a nice Indian gentleman and he gets down on one knee, don't be surprised if he pulls out a paintball gun. This is how they say I love you. Some countries. This is gonna be fun. You guys are cool. You guys are cool. My wife and I have been married for 8 years. 8 years this summer. And I've learned so much about women that I didn't know before I got married. I didn't know women have cold feet. Every single one of y'all. And that's why you wear shoes, is to hide it. My wife's feet are so cold, she could be one of the X-Men and that would be her superpower. I don't know when that would ever come in handy, though. She'd just be walking down the street like, what's that, little boy? Your ice cream is melting. Pow! Now it's on the ground, but it's frozen again. You're welcome. It scares me a little bit, as a black dude, that her feet are so cold, because I'm already statistically prone to develop diabetes, and now I have to add frostbite to the list of reasons I may need to have a limb amputated. I'll show up at my high school reunion with one leg. Everyone will be super concerned. I'll be in a wheelchair. They'll be like, Lam, what happened to your leg? Did you eat too much sugar? Did you get diabetes? I'll be like, no, man, actually, I was just cuddling with my wife. I woke up the next day and my leg was completely black, like more so than normal. And then I took 2 steps and my foot fell off. It was frostbite. Scares me that her feet are so cold. One other thing about my wife, she's very much into interior decorating. She loves keeping our house looking nice, which means we have 500 pillows on our bed that I'm not allowed to lay on. That's what that means. Yeah, the ladies are all excited. They're like, us too. Every time I want to take a nap, I gotta spend half an hour taking them off the bed and organizing them by size. It's ridiculous. Every time I see all these pillows on our bed going to waste, I just want to say, honey, don't you know that there are kids in Africa who don't have pillows? Who would love to use these for pillow fights and then eat them afterwards? Oh, man. Did your parents ever say stuff like that to you guys growing up? Make sure you eat all your food, because there's kids starving in Africa and China, right? Here's the thing about that. There are kids starving in America. But as a kid, if your parents said that to you, you'd be like, well, why don't we send them some food? Did I say New York? I meant Africa and China. It's too far. There's nothing we can do. The postage would be way more than your allowance. Sometimes I wonder, what do you guys think African parents say to their kids at the dinner table? Maybe they're like, make sure that you don't eat all of your food or you'll end up fat like those American kids. Maybe it's the opposite of that. Maybe they're like, make sure that you eat all of your food or else those American kids will come over here and take it. Claim they discovered it. Cool. Man. So marriage is awesome. My kids have superpowers too. My wife has cold feet. My twin daughters have superpowers as well. They're 2 years old. They have magnets in their hands that are attracted to toilet water. Another useless superpower. And fatherhood is fun. I've been teaching my oldest son this new game. It's called Microwaving Mom's Romantic Comedies. How many different versions of Pride and Prejudice does one household need, you guys? 0. That's how many. Yeah, thank you. Those guys clapping are not married. That's why they got away with it. Yeah. Hopefully you're here as a group of bros and you don't have dates right now. No, marriage is great. Now that I've been married for a while, I have friends that call me up and are looking for marriage advice. One of my friends called me the other day. He was like, Lam, I'm about to propose to this girl. I'm madly in love with her. She comes from, and this dude is black. He's black, he's marrying a white girl. He said, I'm marrying this white girl. She comes from a traditional Caucasian family. They have old school views. She wants me to ask her dad for permission before we can get married. He was like, is that normal? I was like, I don't know if that's normal, but if they're a white family with old school views, just be glad she's not making you ask her grandfather for permission. I said it. I've met the grandfather. He was raised in a different time, is what I'm trying to say. But I will say this. I hate when people use that excuse for racism when they say, oh, he was just raised in a different time. That's why he's spraying you with a water hose, Lam. He was just raised a long time ago. That's not a valid excuse. The only way that excuse works for racism is if the person still lives like it's olden times, right? Like if there's an old guy out there who's racist, but he still uses a horse to get everywhere he needs to go, that guy could be racist. He's like, yo, family, I need to go get some milk. I'll see you in a month. Yeah! That guy could be racist. Or if there's an elderly lady out there like, I don't think colored people should be able to vote, but either should I. That lady can be racist. Racism's a hot topic. It makes some people uncomfortable. I want you guys to know this is a comedy show. Everything is meant to be funny. You get a pass tonight. Don't be scared to laugh at anything. No one's gonna be upset. So that said, here's a joke that I want to tell. It's something I always wondered about American history. So here's the thing I always wondered. Do you guys think there was ever a time during slavery when there were white kids trying to act black? It's popular now. I guarantee their parents were furious. It'd be like, Jebediah, come over here right now. All this picking cotton stuff has got to stop. The singing of the Negro spirituals. I don't care how catchy the beat is. Has got to stop. Now I want you to go stand over there and I want you to write out the words 1,000 times. I will not act like a slave. You do too know how to read and write. You guys are smart. Yeah. Oh man. So I grew up in Bellevue, Washington, you guys. It's a suburb outside Seattle. Are you from there?
Seattle.
It's not the same place. Nope. I'm just gonna let that go. I said you guys get a pass. I'll give you a pass on not knowing geography in the state that you're from. I'll give you a pass on that. It's all good, man. No, I grew up in Bellevue, Washington. It's a beautiful part of the country. I think it's the best place in the world. No offense, I loved it. Not a lot of diversity growing up in Bellevue, so I could get away with doing crazy stuff and just say it was part of my culture. Because nobody wanted a lawsuit. I would lie all the time. I'd be like, listen, officer, it's perfectly normal in black culture to jump out of bushes and scare the elderly. That's just how we do, homie. I tried that on my wife when we got married. I was like, honey, in black culture, men do not do dishes or change diapers. I'm sorry. We don't do any chores that start with the letter D. I didn't write the rules, but it's in the handbook. I gotta follow them. I've changed so many diapers because I said that to her. You guys, as a result. So anyway, growing up in Bellevue, fantastic. One time I remember me and my brother were at this church activity where we were painting Easter eggs for homeless people. Think about that for a minute, you guys. It's like borderline disrespectful. It's very condescending. Here, homeless dude, a decorative Easter egg. I hope it keeps you warm and solves your financial problems. What? Oh, yeah, see, we're rich, so we paint our food. Try to stay dry. Happy Easter. It's disrespectful. So I wasn't taking it seriously. I was just writing the names of my favorite rap groups on the eggs. Like the WuTang Clan. Loved listening to them growing up. And this lady sees what I'm doing. She gets one of my eggs. She brings it over to me. She's like, Lam, I don't know what Wu-Tang means, but I'm pretty sure it's not appropriate. This is where I could lie and use my minority status to my advantage. I was like, actually, Wu-Tang is an African tribe. It's part of my culture. Please respect that. She was very apologetic. She's like, Lam, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I took the lie a step further, you guys. I told her that in Africa, we throw up a W sign and say Wu-Tang, it means hello. She believed me. The next week in church, this lady gets up to give a talk. She's like, good morning, brothers and sisters. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang is an African greeting that I learned from Lam over there. I'm very cultured. I shot her in the head with a dart, you guys. I had to. I was like, how's that for an African greeting? She left me no choice. My name, you guys, my full name is actually Lamuweri Guluka, which is an African name, meaning hard to pronounce on first try. People always ask me what it means. It means that sometimes UPS illegally opens my packages. That's what it means. They'll be like, Lamuweri Guluka. No way, this is a real person. Open it! Oh, it's a bomb disguised as a comic book. He's a nerdy terrorist. No, people always ask me what it means, and I honestly don't know, so I just make stuff up. We've established that I do that sometimes. I make stuff up. I'll be like, listen, Lamuweri Guluka is an African phrase that people use when they want to get someone's attention, but it only works if that's the person's name. Lucky me. Grew up in Bellevue, now my wife and I live in Chicago. Love Chicago, it's awesome. Here's the thing, I realized that since I moved to Chicago that I give off a certain look, I give off a certain vibe. It's the vibe of someone who doesn't know how to party. Like I'm very nerdy, like people see me and think of Carlton from Fresh Prince. You know, like, that's what they think when they see me. Yeah. Like in Chicago, for example, in Chicago when I'm walking through Walmart, strangers feel very comfortable coming up to me and asking for urine. They see me and they think, oh, he looks like he could take a drug test with confidence. So they come up to me and ask for help passing their drug test. Here's the thing, it happens so much, I'm thinking about starting a side business called Nerdy Black Guy P LLC. It has a nice ring to it. I'll start a website for the business with a section for frequently asked questions. Like, how do we know that the pee we're gonna get is gonna be clean? And the answer is just a picture of me, like, because here's the guy you're getting it from. Oh man. Sometimes, and I feel like if I started this business, I would need a jingle, like a song. I'm gonna talk about this for a while, so strap in. This is my business model, I wanna get your opinion. I feel like I would need to have a jingle. You know how businesses will take like a 60s, 70s, or 80s song and they'll turn it into something about their business, right? You guys have seen this. I think it would go something like this. Believe it or not, I'm selling my pee. We'll help you pass your drug test illegally. Nerdy Black Guy P LLC. That's how it would go. You guys. Thank you. Yeah. We could have different versions of the song for different demographics. We could have a Jackson 5 version, you guys. It would be hilarious. It'd go like this. P-E-E, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. First you bring a cup to me, then I pee. Pay me money, and the pee is yours now. That's how we go. Yeah. This dude is laughing way too hard. I think you would be a repeat customer, my friend. Don't worry, we would have pee punch cards. The 10th pee is free. Yeah. We'd have to make sure they were laminated, though. In case they somehow got wet. You guys are cool. It's always especially entertaining when someone approaches me, because this really does happen. It's always especially entertaining when someone approaches me, asks for pee, and it's clear that English is their second language. Rosetta Stone is stepping their game up, you guys. Teaching people the useful phrases. They'll come up to me in Walmart, they'll be like, "Excuse me, sir or ma'am. May I borrow a portion of your urine?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Okay, thank you, come again." You came up to me, what are you talking about? It's crazy. This is why I do all my shopping online. I don't like to shop in stores anymore. Also, because my least favorite person in society is the guy or girl who stands at the exit of every store and checks your receipt to make sure you're not a criminal. I hate that. Thank you, they hate it too. I hate that. When my wife and I first moved to Chicago, we went to go buy a new dryer at this store. And we bought our dryer, we drove to the back to the warehouse to pick it up. There was a gate, there's a guy at the gate. He checked our receipt on the way in, totally understandable. We go into the warehouse, we get our dryer, we're out in 2 minutes. Same guy, same gate. He checked our receipt again. What does he think happened in the 2 minutes we were in that warehouse? Like, we went in there and the employee was like, "Looks like that'll be one dryer." We were like, "Actually, that's gonna be 2 dryers." Hurry it up, I got a big family, I have a lot of dirty clothes at home. I don't have time to play games. Put an extra lint trap in the bag. This is serious business. You know where they don't check your receipt, but they should? At restaurants. Because people are more likely to dine and dash than they are to steal a 60-inch television. Just my opinion. Imagine you've just had a fantastic meal at the Olive Garden. You're on your way out. There's a guy at the door. He says, "Wait a minute. Thank you for choosing the Olive Garden. But when you're here, you're a suspect." I'm gonna need to see that receipt and smell your breath. We're very thorough here at the Olive Garden. Here's some floss, run it through your teeth and put the food particles in my hand. Gonna compare this to your receipt. Your receipt says spaghetti and meatballs, but there's chicken here. Security! Arrest this man. "Sir, I don't believe you ate the chicken earlier. He's a thief and a liar. Take him away." You guys shop at Costco? Yeah? Wow, that was way too enthusiastic. Do you guys all own stock in Costco or something? That's crazy. No, Costco's fantastic. I'm guessing you guys may have big families, so it's a great place to shop. I do too. Here's the thing. They check your receipt at Costco, and then they swipe it with a highlighter, right? You know why they do that? So you can't come back with that same receipt and get the exact same items for free, because clearly that was happening before. People were coming to Costco and the employee was like, "Weren't you here earlier?" And they were like, "Yeah, I was. But then I got home and realized my family was twice as big as I remember. We're getting some paternity tests done, but in the meantime, I'm gonna need all these groceries. And I'll be back in half an hour." Told you guys earlier I'm kinda immature. And it was hard to date in college because I was so immature. I didn't take anything seriously. Like, one time I got this invitation to an 80s party with an 80s theme. And on the invite, it said, "Make sure you dress like it's the 80s. Make sure you act like it's the 80s. So I showed up in a diaper. They were upset, you guys. I don't think they were so much angry that I showed up in a diaper as they were that I forgot to bring an extra one. I'm kind of a party pooper. Man, and it's hard to talk to girls when you're wearing a diaper. You guys have all been there. We've all been there, fellas. It doesn't make it easier. I don't know what kind of girls you're talking to. No, it's hard to talk to girls when you're wearing a diaper. I walked up to this girl at the party. I was like, hey, what's up, girl? Do you like my diaper? And this girl got mad and slapped me in the face. So I called Child Protective Services. She went to prison. I studied political science in college, you guys. It was fun. It was a great major. One of the things that they teach in political science is that when people are taking a poll or a survey, they're more likely to choose the first option, right? So paper or plastic, you're more likely to choose paper because that was the first option. So I always tried to incorporate that into my dating life. I asked this girl on a date one time, I was like, hey, do you want to go on a date on Saturday? Or do you want me to set your house on fire? She said yes to the date, clearly because that was the first option that I gave her. It's political science. I studied political science because I wanted to be a lawyer or a politician. I wanted to change policy. I wanted to change the world. Because there's too many dumb laws in society. Would you guys agree we got some dumb laws? Yeah. One of the laws that I hate are truancy laws. They say that if a kid skips too much school, their parents can get punished. If a kid skips too much school, their parents can go to jail. So if a kid skips too much school, we take their parents away, thus making it easier for them to skip school in the future. Mission accomplished. And if I was a kid, I would use that to my advantage every single day, that law. I'd be like, hey, Dad, can I borrow $20? No, son, you can't borrow $20. You haven't even been going to school lately. You're right, Dad. I've missed school 9 times this semester. Do you know what happens when we get to number 10? You go to jail. So actually, make it $40 and I'm no longer mowing the lawn. You just got hustled. Oh man, college was fun. I remember when I was in college, the economy was bad. It wasn't like it is now, so people were looking for new ways to save money, right? And there was this commercial that used to always come on TV. I swear I'm not making this up. You can Google it after the show. It was for this thing called the Smart Mop. And this dude stands up with a British accent, and it goes like this. He says, with the Smart Mop, you can clean up this spilled soda, and then in these tough economic times, you can wring it back in the glass, and it's ready to drink all over again. That's disgusting. And if we were in such tough economic times where people were drinking soda off the floor to save money, do you really think we could afford 3 easy payments of $19.95 for a mop? It's ridiculous. In these infomercials, they always have these kids who make these ridiculous messes that would never happen in real life. They'll be like, Mommy, I just dropped my hot dog. So naturally, there's ketchup and mustard all over the floor, walls, and ceiling. Then I tried to clean it up with tar. It's a TV mom, so she's super patient. She's like, oh, that's okay, honey. With all the money I've saved making you kids drink soda off the floor, I've purchased the Smart Mop and we'll clean this mess right up. Here, let me wring this ketchup back onto your hot dog. It's tough economic times. I want to tell you guys a story about the worst thing I ever did when I was a kid. Do you guys want to hear it? Yeah? It's not that bad. But I will say it involves a prank and a can of fart spray. So you know it's going to be hilarious. So here's what happened. I bought this can of fart spray, and this is true. I wanted to spray it in my school, right? But I knew I needed to try it in a small-scale environment first, so I sprayed some in my parents' basement. But here's the thing about it. Fart spray doesn't smell like fart. It smells like radioactive garbage. So you smell it and you think, oh no, tell my family I love them. So my dad came downstairs. He was like, what is that smell? I was like, Dad, it's fart spray. Ha ha ha, I gotcha, it's a prank. And he was like, that's not funny. Don't ever do that again. If you ever do that again, I will send you to Africa so you can learn how to work. When I was growing up, my dad used to always threaten to send us to Africa so we could learn how to work anytime we did something that he didn't get to do when he was a kid. Like sleeping in past the crack of dawn or wearing shoes. He used to get so upset. He'd be like, why are you wearing those Michael Jordan shoes? They're so expensive. You don't need them. I'd be like, Dad, the shoes were probably sewn together by kids in Africa. So consider it a donation to your homeland. So anyway, you guys, I bought this can of fart spray, and I sprayed it in the school, in this teacher's classroom who I knew would not think it was funny. He'd get very upset. Sprayed it in his lunch, sprayed it under his desk, sprayed it on the papers he was grading, everywhere. And then I had PE that period, so I went outside. I didn't have to smell it. Now here's the thing I didn't know when I did this. I didn't know that there were people on the roof of the school welding that day. And so when they smelled the fart spray in the school, because remember, it smells like radioactive garbage, they immediately thought, oh no, the people on the roof welding hit a gas pipe, no pun intended. So the school principal called poison control. So I'm outside at PE, and I see these 3 trucks pull up to the school, and these dudes in hazmat suits hop out. And they start running in the school. If you've never seen someone run in a hazmat suit, it's hilarious. They look like oversized Oompa Loompas. You guys, they were running like, what is this smell that we have to clean up? It smells like it came out somebody's butt. We don't like the smell of that. So, long story short, they found out it was me and that it was just a prank. And the school principal called me in her office. She was like, Lam, if I look in your backpack, am I gonna find a can of fart spray? And I was like, fart spray in my backpack? Girl, are you crazy? There's no fart spray in my backpack. She was like, Lam, if I look in your backpack, am I gonna find the fart spray? I was like, yes, you will. You asked twice, so yeah. She got me with the old ask them twice routine. She was like, Lam, give me the can of fart spray. I was like, give you the fart spray? That's crazy. This was expensive. I'm not giving you. She was like, Lam, give me the fart spray. I was like, okay, here you go. So I gave it to her. It was uncomfortable handing her the can because the artwork on the can was like a cartoon drawing of a bare backside with green air coming out of it. And on the can it said like, fart spray it in your school. Fart spray intended for school use. So she took the can, she's looking at it, she's furious. She's like, Lam, why did you do this? I was like, I know, but it's part of my culture. Can't help it. I didn't write the rules. So long story short, you guys, my punishment for doing this is I got suspended from school for 2 weeks. But it was 2 weeks before winter break. Which is why this joke is called How to Get a Month Off of School. Also, that was the first Christmas that I spent in Africa. Yeah, learning how to work. Oh, man. One thing, so as I get older, I don't like to text and instant message as much and stuff because I don't like the abbreviations that people use. I feel like they're overused. Has anyone here ever actually rolled on the floor laughing before? It's ridiculous. No, you haven't. Stop it. Stop. I've never been sitting at home watching TV like, oh man, this show is hilarious. We should roll around on the floor and get all dirty. It's the logical thing to do. It would make a lot more sense if it was ROFLOF, rolling on the floor laughing on fire. Could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I hate when people use cliche phrases. The one that really gets me is when people say laughter is the best medicine. It's like, oh, really, laughter is the best medicine. All this time we thought it was penicillin. We should have been tickling sick people. Now, Jimmy, the doctor's gonna tickle you. Are you ready? But Dad, it hurts to laugh. Jimmy, do you want to get better? Okay. And then he would be cured. Anyone ever hit a deer before? when you're driving? Yeah? It sucks, doesn't it? It's not fun. You have to pay your deductible and you killed an animal. It's terrible, unless you eat it afterwards. I guess that's cool. No, but here's the thing. I've never seen a dead deer in the middle of the road. They're always on the side of the road, right? So either as we're driving, we're seeing deer on the side of the road and we're swerving to hit them, or we're hitting them in the middle of the road and they're crawling to the side before they die. Deer are getting hit. They're like, oh no, I'm not gonna survive this one. Gotta make sure I get to the side of the road out of the way of all these cars. A strategy I should have adopted during life, but didn't. Gotta make sure I leave some of my intestines though, so no one forgets me. They always leave some in the middle of the road. What are they doing? Like, gotta pour some out for my homies. What's the logic? I don't hunt. I'm not a hunter, you guys. I don't hunt. But here's the thing I've always wondered. When you're hunting an animal, if it sees you coming, or smells you coming, or senses you coming, it'll run away. So why don't hunters just sneak up on deer in their car going 70 miles per hour? They would never see it coming. One more thing about me. I have sleep apnea, you guys. It sucks. Do you guys know what that is? Yeah. It's not exciting. Unless you want me to die. No, basically I stop breathing in my sleep, you guys. It's terrible. It's terrifying. And it's a nerdy disease. It fits my personality. Like, it's not cool. You can't make it sound cool. Like, if you have athlete's foot, you can kind of brag a little bit. You can be like, yo, when I'm working out and I get sweaty, I get this manly fungus between my toes. There's no bragging with sleep apnea. It's like, listen, guys, sometimes when I'm laying down completely still with my eyes closed, I run out of breath. It's sleep apnea. The way that I found out I have sleep apnea is because I got married. You want to know what's wrong with you? Just get married, you guys. They'll let you know first thing in the morning. I have a fantastic wife, though. I got married. My wife woke me up one day. She's like, Lam, I think you have sleep apnea. You stopped breathing in your sleep. And I was like, honey, you're quick to pass judgment on people's sleeping habits, so we both have some stuff we need to work on. And I got defensive. I was like, honey, maybe I'm just constantly dreaming that I'm underwater. Or maybe I hate the smell of my nightly farts as much as you do. Holding my breath. She won that argument, you guys. I had to go to the sleep doctor. He did an examination. He looked me up and down. He was like, Lam, you do have sleep apnea. You have two options. You can have an expensive and painful surgery, or you can eat right, exercise, and lose some weight. I thought about it. I was like, sign me up for that surgery, son. Because that was the first option that he gave me. Political science. I'm Lamuweri Guluka. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much.